What up, though? It's the word. You see the title. Let's talk about it. First, I want to say, rest in peace, Twitch. I want to send my condolences out to his family, his wife, and 3 kids. You know, especially the holiday coming up. The decision he made, is heartbreaking. And I don't know why, nor does it really matter why he decided. It's just sad. It's just sad that he's not here, no longer here with us. Yeah, that's Dahuti. I'm calling him by his comedic name. The comedic name is Dahuti. And if anybody watching this and don't know who Twitch is, Twitch was Ellen DeGeneres' DJ. He also was an actor, uh, a dancer, a heck of a dancer. I'm not saying he was the best dancer, but the energy and enthusiasm that he put into his dancing, I enjoyed every move. I enjoy watching him because his dancing, it made me feel happy. So any chance I got, I watched him. And he was a ray of light, always positive, always uplifting. And honestly, one of the last people who I would think, would take their own life. But that's the thing, about suicide. We don't know what's going on in someone's head. You even think about the condition or situation they were in. Some of us may be able to tolerate or bear, but the next person, it might affect them differently. So that's why I never judge, because I myself attempted suicide before. I put a gun in my mouth and pulled the trigger. It didn't go off. When I took it out my mouth and looked at the side of the barrel, the shot fired up in the sky, hit the ceiling. And I realized how he shot himself. They said a self-inflicted gun wound to the head. No, he shot himself. They said this morning his wife went into a police station and told the cops that her husband was missing and his car was still there, and that's something is wrong because it's not like him. And then later on that morning, they responded to a hotel where a man was shot, and when they got there, it was him, and it appeared to be a self-inflicted gunshot wound. So, I mean, like I said, we don't know what's going on in someone's head. We don't know their personal situation, especially these people we see on TV. They could look like they got the best life and turn around and they're in worse pain than us, or going through more problems than we are. We just don't know. And so, even thinking about suicide, that feeling of not wanting to be here no more. That's a feeling, or at least a thought, that many of us had before. But some of us may have a strong structure at home, or even a stronger mindset to leave it just as a thought. But then some of us don't. That's why I be careful of the energy I put out and the words I say to people, because even when I tried to commit suicide, it wasn't the major events that made me depressed or made me not want to be here. It was the small event. that actually pushed me towards the act of it. I had get into it with my mom and yelled at her. And when I yelled at her, the face she gave me, I felt like that made me, I just felt worthless because at that time, that was the one person who always was in my corner, who always had my back. And I just felt like I destroyed that. Like I didn't have that no more. And like I said, it wasn't the major things I went through. It was the small thing. Me feeling like I disappointed my mom made me not want to be here no more. That was like the straw that broke the camel's back. Me thinking I hurt my mother. But it's a lot of stuff. I lost a lot of people in that time span right in front of me. Being verbally abused, physically abused, going into the world and not succeeding in things at the level I thought I should made me feel lesser than. But I never tried it. I thought about it. But what pushed me was the small thing. The fact that I thought I disappointed my mom. My mother always told me I can't disappoint her. And it was a stupid, simple argument. And I raised my voice. And it was a look. She didn't even say anything. It was the look she gave me. And I just felt like that's it. But by the grace of the Creator, I was supposed to be here for a reason. And when I pulled the gun out of my mouth and it fired, I realized that it scared the crap out of me. Like I almost did that. And then if I thought I hurt my mother before, I couldn't imagine the pain she would have felt if she would have found me dead. At that point, I felt selfish. And then even after, I didn't have those thoughts until probably a year ago. Never had those thoughts again. And then when I lost my eyesight and I realized that I'm not the same person I was, I can't do the same thing. That thought crept back into my mind. The thought crept back into my mind. But then I looked at my son and I didn't want him to grow up wondering why his daddy left him in the way he left him. I didn't want that for my son. Because I seen other people suffer from that. I had friends whose parents or a loved one committed suicide, and they always question why. And they always wonder, is it something I did? And then I started thinking, well, how would this affect my son growing up knowing his daddy took his life? Would that make him a weaker person or would that make him angry? So I found something that was greater than my desire not to be here, to stay here. And a lot of times people don't even have that. I used to work in a hospital, and in a year, I remember it specifically, I'm sorry, because we used to have to, at the end of the year, we look at our results. And I worked in the OR. So a lot of times anytime I worked as an anesthesia assistant, so anytime people came in not breathing, they called us. So every time an attempted suicide or suicide came in, we had to go. And in 1 year, we had 92 attempted suicides and we had 14 fatalities from suicide. That don't sound like a lot, but I worked in a big city. That was just our hospital. There was 3 other hospitals around us. And some of the people who used to come in, a large majority of them was out of towners. You see, I worked down the street from the casino. So these people would come in and gamble and lose everything. And and some of them succeeded in committing suicide. So it Sometimes it don't have to be a buildup of things. It can be a situation or an incident. I had a friend who lost his mother and his father in a car accident. And he called me one day, said, I'm going to kill myself. I don't want to be here. Went over to his house, talked to him, stayed there with him, comforted him. And ultimately, he didn't do it. We still talk to this day. But he told me if I didn't come over there, if I didn't grab him, hug him, he would have did it. He said maybe even if I would have left, he would have did it. And this is one of the strongest people I know. But we don't know what's going on in people's minds. So if we see someone out of character, we need to talk to them. We need to open up, have them open up to it. Because just from personal experience, when someone's in pain like that, I'm not gonna say they ain't thinking straight, but nothing really matters but that pain to go away. And sometimes the only option that they see to make that pain go away is death. It was a time when I was younger, I had someone close to me commit suicide and step in front of a train. And I was young. I was 7 years old when he did it. It was like he was like an older cousin to me. And I looked up to him. And it hurted me so much that I was angry. And I used to say people who commit suicide is weak. I used to say that. It's like, I was a kid growing up, but that's how ignorant I was to the situation. Instead of trying to understand what the people was going through, I was angry because someone that I was close to took his own life and left me there. And that's to go back to what I was saying about my son. I felt that anger. I didn't want him to have it. And later on, when I grew up, I found out what happened. The girl he was dating, the kid they had together that was 4 years old at the time, it wasn't his. And he found out. And she didn't want to be with him. And he just felt like his world was over. So he stepped in front of a train. He stepped in front of a train. This world is this world is beautiful, but it's ugly at the same time. And sometimes the ugliness outshines the beauty in it. A lot of times. And especially men, until we start talking about our emotions, how we feel, we always go suffer. Because for some reason we got this idea that men have to be strong and men aren't emotional. And that's a lie. I think men are just emotional as females. But as men, we have to talk about our emotions. It's not soft. It's not less masculine. It's just a fact. We have emotion. We get hurt. We feel pain. But if we begin to open up and talk about it, we can relieve that pain. We can heal those wounds. And we can be the strong men that we like to look at ourselves as. But we can only do that if we fix what's broken. And until we fix what's broken, unfortunately, We're gonna have brothers like Twitch who gave so much and asked for so little leave us early. Until we fix our emotions, we're gonna have brothers locked up in jail for hurting other people, killing other people. Hey, though, but yeah, we have to, man, we have to talk about our emotions. We have to talk about our feelings. I mean, I talk to my wife about mine. I talk to my mother, my father, but it's okay to seek counseling. It's okay. It's okay to ask someone for help. And if someone asks for help, please believe they're asking for a reason. Maybe they're not strong enough to make that call and they need you to do it. That's where I was at. I wasn't strong enough to make the call, so I asked people to help me. And I didn't get it. In a way that I fixed my mindset was religion and spirituality. I sought out something greater than me and I found it. I found it and I'm lucky. Like I said, sometimes when you're in that mindset, you just need something bigger, a bigger desire than the desire to not be here. And I found the creator. I found my son. I found my wife. But sometimes you need that spark or stimulant. That's why I say when you see somebody suffering, don't leave them alone. Don't leave them alone. When you see somebody hurting, don't leave them alone. We have to start supporting one another. Be more understanding to one another. It's not hard. It's not hard. It's not hard to be caring. It's not taking nothing away from you to care about somebody. It doesn't take nothing away from you. And I know a lot of us in our past been through things, to make us not trust no one. I'm not telling you to give anyone your all, but what I'm asking is if you can be kind, just be kind. And if you can't, just get away from the person. I try not to talk to people if I can't say nothing positive to them. I really do. I try my best not to talk to no one if I can't say something positive, motivating, inspiring to them, something uplifting. If I can't say it, I just choose not to talk to them. We got to get these stigmas, these mindsets. We gotta get rid of them because they're not working for us. It's taboo for the black community to talk about mental health. No one wants to be seen crazy or seen different, but we are. And the more we keep trying to seem right, to be okay, the more we try to do that, the more we go hurt. The more we hurting ourselves, we hurting generations that's coming up behind us because they see what we do, and that's how they learn what to do. These talks need to be had. We got to stop running away from them because it's not just affecting us, it's really affecting everybody. You know, when we talk about man emotions, I'm raising a son. If I don't fix what's wrong with me, I ain't gonna do nothing but pass it down to him. Generational trauma is real. If I don't fix what's wrong with me, I will pass it down to him. So not only will he have to experience life in his own traumas, but now he will have to deal with the sin of his father. It's in the Bible. It's so many. It's so many lessons, and I'm not a Christian per se, but I studied the Bible. I practice the lessons in the Bible. I understand the spirituality within the Bible. I understand the metaphysics within the Bible. And there's so many things that we can learn, but we wait for people to teach it to us, and we don't go seek the information ourselves. And by waiting for one day out of the week to get this information, you might not get it. You might not get it. And when they say the son will suffer for the sins of his father, that's what they're talking about. The things that I do, the pain that I have, if I don't fix all that, it's just going to get passed down to my son. So it's just not us. The reason we need to have these conversations is not just because of us, but it's to make the generation coming behind us better. It's to get them ready. But I can't do that if I'm broke. And that's why I say even the condition that I'm in now, the lack of vision that I have, my son don't know that. I don't whine, I don't cry, I don't even use it. I don't play victim. I don't need no sympathy or empathy. It's a process I had to go through to get to this point, but I was aware. I was aware I had to put in the work just because of what I've been through in my past. It prepped me for this situation. That's just my mindset now, how I looked at it. But even in the process, it was still a process because I had those thoughts. I had that lack of confidence. I had that lack of self esteem because it was a new event happening now. I've never experienced the loss of something that I used every day. I'd have been shot and stabbed, but I never lost anything to the point where it made me different. And even though I had my dad there telling me every day, you go get stronger. My wife there, you go get stronger. You go be okay. Even to this day, I have people telling me you go get your eyesight back. If this was a year ago, nothing they said would have mattered because I felt like they ain't going through it. They don't have to deal with it. Yeah, you can say all that good stuff, but you're not the one suffering. You're not the one having chronic migraines to the point where you can't even see light or you throw up. I was very active. They took it away from me. But then I got to that point where I understood that this is not even a setback. I understood this is just something that I had to go through to learn something. And I learned it. And I appreciate the lesson. I appreciate it. I laugh and I make jokes about my condition now. My sister just told me the other day, you sick in the head. How can you laugh about that? Because it's something I overcame. It's something I conquered. And it no longer hinders me. It made me evolve. But that's because me personally, because all the other things I went through in life, I understand my path. All the things that I went through in life prepared me for this. But some people don't go through stuff early in life. And later in life, when they go through something, they don't know how to handle it. They don't know how to go about it. And they make a decision. They want the pain to go away. And the only way they think they can make it go away is to take their life. And this is something that's been happening probably since the beginning of time. I don't know. I know it's been happening for a long time. And for a long time, especially in our community, we wait and sit back for solutions to be made. We don't try to make the solutions ourselves. We wait for someone to give them to us. And it's time we stop doing that. It's time that we have these conversations and we find solutions or at least tools to solve our own problems. Because waiting for the government to do it, waiting for some authority figure to do it, it usually don't work out for us. Not in the way it worked for other people. I mean, you look at the opioid epidemic, is what they call it, right? But when crack hit the hood, they call it the war on drugs. So when we have an epidemic of drugs, you call it a war. And the way you solve that is to come and lock our fathers up, take them away from the household for years and years and years. Not only the dealers, but the users. They was locking the users up. But when it happened to other groups of people, you call it an epidemic and you create centers and you create programs to get them clean. This is why we have to solve our own problems. We have to have these conversations. We have to have these discussions. We got to stop being distracted. There's too many distractions out there. Too many. We have the power to communicate at light speed. We have the power to build rooms like this where we all come congregate and talk about these things and find solutions so we can take back to our home and start implementing them. That's how it starts. We have to start in our home, but we can share information. We don't have to build a physical community to build a community. We can do it right here. We can build communities right here and take the solutions that we come up to, bring them into our home, begin to implement them, come back on here, talk about them. If things need to be tweaked or changed, we can do that. But we got to start somewhere. It has to start. Like I said, it's too many distractions. Too many. And the first thing we got to start with is our mindset. We got to change the way we think. You know, we don't need to be competing with one another. We need to be cooperating, helping one another. That's the first thing. We got to stop looking at each other as competition and look at each other as an asset or a resource, because we all are. Everyone has some unique ability. Everyone has access to something. If it's information or physical resource, we need to network and work together. You know, we all get social media. I implore you, if you're going through something, hit me up. I'll talk to you. If you have a question, hit me up. I'll try to answer it. If not, I might know somebody who knows somebody. But we have to start somewhere. I didn't really want to make a long live. I'm gonna put the link down there if anybody want to come up and add anything, or you're more than welcome. I apologize. I usually put it in there at the beginning of the show, but yeah, anytime I'm on, if you don't see the link, ask for it. Come up and build. You know, everyone has a voice. Everyone's voice should be heard. You know, we've been waiting for a revolution. What did they used to say? A revolution will not be televised, and they right, because what a revolution has to start is in our mindset. Like I said, we got to stop looking at each other as enemies, as competition. You know, and everyone who come in ain't gonna be pure heart. I understand that. You know, everyone who you talk to ain't gonna have your best mind. They ain't gonna have your best interest in mind. Some people will come in just to disrupt. But what I'm telling you, if we stick together, we can see it, weed it out, get rid of it, and focus on what we need to do. Like I said, we don't need a physical community. We can build one right here. We can build one right here. There's other platforms we can communicate on. You know, I was on Doaz TV earlier. Shout out to Doaz. Go check out wonderful channel. And I would tell you to go over to her channel and get a membership. If you're listening to this live or on playback, go get a membership. She will have the Honorable Judge Joe Brown on for members only. You know, she bring a lot of great content. She give us access to a lot of different people, but we're not supporting her. Not like we supporting some other people. You know, she actually bringing things that can make effective change. She's giving us her resources. But I was on there earlier and we was talking about this. And I mentioned sometimes it's the people, you know, who smile the most are the ones hurting the most inside. And that's true. You know, that's true. You know, sometimes it's the people who smile the most, who laugh the most, are the ones in pain the most. But as brothers, as sisters, we need to be able to tell one another it's okay to talk about our emotions. We have to be open to one another. So even if a person begin to tell, we have to listen. Me personally, it's just my personal way of life. I don't judge people. I rather understand them. And then once I understand a person, I don't feel the need to judge them anymore. Everybody goes through something. Everybody has some type of trauma or pain they went through. And people take it different ways. People have different reactions. And I don't see how it benefits me or them to judge them. Now I look at someone and say, you know what? That's not for me. I can't deal with you. I'm straight. And I just go my way. And but there's no point of me judging them, even if I do that. Yeah, a lot of times we do. You're right, though. A lot of times we do judge. A lot of times we do judge. But when I do that, just from what I studied and understood, like we live in a three-dimensional world, and a lot of times is I'm gonna actually do a video on understanding what I'm about to say. But a lot of times, what we see in other people is what we either do or what we did. That's how we're able to identify it. A lot of times, you ever know someone, well, we call them hypocrites, right? They do things or talk about people doing things, and then we look like, hold on, man, you do that. That's why they're able to identify it. A lot of things. Do you ever know someone who get upset, like super upset, when someone does something that they normally do to other people? That's why they do it. That's why I personally don't judge nobody. I just look at it, I analyze it, and if I believe in them or if I can rock with what they're doing, I rock with them. If I can't, I just stay away from them. But for me to judge them, that's me putting that's like me judging them is just that, judging them. And for me to be in the position to judge someone, that's more of an authority figure, right? Because our creator judges them. And on this plane, we go to a judge to get judged. So for me to do that is for me, in my opinion, to say I'm better than someone. That's why I choose not to do it. It's a choice. I'm not saying when people do it is wrong. I'm just saying be mindful. If you judge people, I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm literally saying be mindful. Salute Platinum and Gold TV. Yeah, if you got anything to add, feel free to hit the link. Oh yeah, the hypocrites are running them up. And see when you I think like with the way I operate, I have people in my life who when they say something, I listen. That's my counsel. If my wife say, "Hey, you tripping?" Then I sit back and I look at my actions. Me personally, I just believe you need people in your life that can hold you accountable. You don't want yes men around you. You don't want yes men around you because they go keep saying yeah, 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 even if you're doing wrong, wrong, wrong. So when people give me criticism, I'm aware of what they're doing because I won't say someone is doing wrong unless I have the solution. or if I know what they exactly are they doing wrong, I'm not going around criticizing anyone. So if I speak on some actions, I don't speak on people negatively. Not on this platform, I won't. And I don't do it in real life. But if I see an action, I speak on it. I speak on the situation. I'm not gonna judge the person, but if you do something and it's wrong, it needs to be identified or corrected. That I totally understand. And I know that sounds condescending, but I'm literally talking about the action because if someone, I give you an example, I'm gonna put myself in a scenario. If I come on here talking positive, right? And then a couple days later, you hear me on here just bashing people, someone needs to correct that. Someone should be able to tell me, like, why are you were talking positive, uplifting, but now you're going around saying hurtful things to people. Someone should be able to correct that. Because if I can't hold myself accountable and no one else can't hold me accountable, it's just going to be chaos. And that probably wasn't a good scenario, but like I said, that was the best I can do without, affecting people emotions. But if you don't have someone in your life that can hold you accountable, you need to find someone. Because when we do things, sometimes we don't know what we're doing until we're not doing it anymore. We don't know the pain or the chaos we're causing until we stop doing it. Because in our mind, we might feel like we're doing right. We might literally feel like we're doing the right thing. And it could be the right selfish thing, but you could be affecting people negatively. And if you can't hold yourself accountable, if you don't do some type of self reflection, which I try to do every day, I try to look at all the actions that I took, the decisions I made, rather, and I look at the outcome and how it affected people. Even when I make these videos, I go back and listen to the video and I try to make sure I didn't say anything that disrespects anybody. But that's self-reflection. Because like I said, I don't want to come on here and assault nobody. Mainly disrespect my family. My kids, my wife, my mom, my dad. People watch me on here. My family. I'm a reflection of them. That's how I was raised. I'm not saying that's the best way or the only way, but I was raised that when I walked out that house, I represent my name. And I feel like that's one of the things that got me on the straight path when I veered away. And that's one of the things that keep me on that path is knowing I represent something greater than I. A lot of people use religion. Some people even use their job. I know people who leave work and say, well, I represent such and such company, even when I'm off the clock. So I can't, it's just a way or something to hold on to keep people straight. And nothing is wrong with that. That's one of your nicknames. Yeah, but we all have pain and trauma we experienced in life. And all I ask is just be mindful of that when we look at other people. Before we cast judgment on other people, because we don't know what they went through to put them in the condition or situation they in today. We don't know. So many things, especially now that we got the internet and we hearing so many different people's stories about things they went through. I couldn't imagine making jokes on someone I was mentally or verbally and physically abused, like beat abused. I couldn't imagine someone who got physically abused the other way as a kid. I couldn't imagine that. I couldn't imagine that. And for us as people, I hear people on here making jokes about that. And to be honest, those people making jokes about it, I promise you, they've been through some stuff too. I promise you that. The only way you can lash out and hurt somebody like that if you hurting yourself. But to be honest, I don't have any sympathy for them because if you went through pain, you should understand how I feel. You should not want anyone else to feel that. That's like I never wanted to physically hurt nobody because of what I went through. So I would try to avoid fights because I trained my whole life and I know what I can do. But I also knew if I got into a fight, I'm going to take all that pain and rage out on somebody. And a couple times I blacked out to the point where when I came to, I didn't know like I hurt this person that bad. I didn't know. And so now today I'm very mindful because I don't want to hurt nobody because I know that pain. But see, some people, they never heal. They don't know how. They never got help. So the only way they know to lift some of that pain off of them is to hurt other people. Is to give that pain to other people. And I see that a lot on here. I see that a lot. And what they don't realize, no matter how much pain they cause other people, it ain't gonna take that pain away in them. It's not gonna take that pain away. And all you really doing is setting yourself up for more pain. That's all you really doing. And they say hurt people hurt people. But yeah, if no one wants to come up, I'm gonna go ahead and end the show. I got something. My wife gave me permission to speak on Karma Sutra tomorrow, so I'm gonna explain the science of Karma Sutra tomorrow. So if you're new to the page, hit the like, hit the subscribe, and turn that noti bell on. When I go live, you go live. I appreciate everyone coming out. Like I said, anytime I'm here, if you don't see the link and you want to add to the conversation, just ask in the chat. I'll put it up. But that's what I do here. I have conversations. And the conversations, I'm hoping, lead to solutions to problems we have. If you're new here, check out the videos I made before. And if you want to comment, or if you can add to the conversation, or if it's something that I missed, you can email me. You can leave a comment under the video, and we can come up here and talk about it. Rest in peace, Twitch. Y'all have a good night.